God bless the USA.
Football is back. Welcome, NFL fans. This is Sebastian Fearon here, doctor of physical therapy, working with the guys over at the Sports Gambling Podcast Network this year, working on some NFL injury analysis. This is the first of a video series we're doing where we're breaking down the impactful injuries for the Thursday night matchup and then talking about some injuries that are going to impact the games later on in the week. So let's go ahead and get started with week one. We have your Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking off against the Dallas Cowboys. Let's start with those defending champions. They have one player listed as out so far. It's starting safety Jordan Whitehead. Now, when we think of the Bucs, we think of them having a good defense, but not necessarily a great pass defense. They ranked 21st in the league as far as pass defense last year, so having a starting member out is not really a loss that they would like to afford. I will note that their backup there, Mike Edwards, a 2019 third-round draft pick out of Kentucky, he does have some experience, started 7 games there in 2019, and played some last year, even had an interception against the Saints in the postseason. Moving forward, that looks like it's mostly it for the Bucs. They did rest some veterans. There was some news about Chris Godwin possibly being limited due to a quad. Bruce Arian and the team has said he's good to go, so I'm going to go ahead and trust the coach on that one. But if you do have Chris Godwin on your fantasy team or are looking to play that line, I would go ahead and monitor the situation for Thursday night with the pregame warm-ups there. Moving on to the Cowboys, they have their starting guard Zach Martin, arguably their best offensive lineman, out with COVID. Now, this is a huge loss because we just mentioned, Bucs maybe not the best pass defense in the secondary, but their front seven, they can get after the quarterback, and they were the heart of that team. They had the number 1 rush defense last year and were tied for 4th in the league for sacks. So this is a big loss. The Cowboys looking to run the ball. I will get to this a little bit later, but with Dak coming off an injury, you want to be able to run the ball or at least protect him. That's going to be in question with Zach Martin out there. Moving on to Dak Prescott. He's coming in with several variables working against him this year. He had that lat strain where, I think due to that ankle injury where he took all that time off, wasn't able to throw. He came back this offseason. He was starting to throw, and then he put some stress on that muscle there. So we have to see, is the lat okay? How's the ankle going to hold up? And this is also his first live action in over a year and a half. He got hurt week 5 of last year, so he wasn't able to play any in the preseason. So he's had no live game action, and the first is going to be against this stout Buccaneers defense. Definitely interested to see how he's going to fare there. And not on top of that, his defense isn't the greatest, so I suspect they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. He's going to get tested right off the bat, week 1. Go ahead, moving over to his fellow wide receiver, Amari Cooper, who missed the majority of the preseason. He had a surgery in the offseason to remove a bone spur. Ended up getting some inflammation setbacks there, so he's had some setbacks this offseason. He's coming in playing down 10 to 15 pounds lighter. How's that going to affect the injury? So Cowboys offense definitely with some holes and some question marks as we go into week 1. As far as some injuries coming up in the week, we have Curtis Samuel, who just suffered a setback today, Wednesday, September 8th. He's coming off a groin injury where he hasn't been practicing for 3 months. He just came back Monday, was a limited participant, didn't know about week 1 availability. Looks like he's had a setback. I would assume that he's not going to only not play week 1. Also have to start monitoring the situation for multiple weeks of being missed there. Evan Engram from New York Giants tight end. He had a calf muscle strain suffered in the last preseason game. He was a limited participant on Monday. Did not practice at all today, Wednesday. That is not a good sign for his week 1 availability. This is actually an injury that I would prefer him not to play because it's something that can re-injure easily and linger throughout the season. So he may just rest up and get ready for the season. Kyle Rudolph would be looking to take his spot there. Next 2 guys, Saquon Barkley and Joe Burrow. Both guys with ACL, MCL, meniscus tears coming off major knee injuries. I'm curious to see how they're both going to fare. Now, Saquon did get 2 more months of rehab. His injury occurred in week 2, back in September of last year. So I'm a little less concerned for him. And the Giants, all signs point to them being conservative with their approach as far as easing him in. I expect him to get a lighter workload in the early weeks and get eased in, but have better production throughout the season. As far as Joe Burrow, I'm much more concerned. Again, he had 2 less months of rehab. And they really did nothing in the offseason to build up that offensive line that caused him to get hurt last year. So I'm definitely concerned for Burrow for that, as well as the mental aspect. Earlier in the preseason, he was quoted saying that he wasn't feeling completely comfortable. It's a huge psychological aspect when you're getting back there as a quarterback, the most mental part of the game. And the Bengals did nothing this year to go ahead and build confidence in him. So I'm going to be interesting to see how Burrow fares week 1 against Minnesota. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Go ahead and follow me on at SGPN Football Doc on Twitter for all the latest injury updates, and look out for some articles we'll be posting weekly.